Where were these basketball superstars before they became famous? First, we got Paolo Banchero. Before becoming the #1 pick in the NBA draft, the 7th grader was just trying to make a name for himself. This footage is from the 2016 EBC Washington camp, before he hit his growth spurt. He was just 6'1" with the same bag. It helps that he's 6'10" now. Back when Taylon Kenny was in 6th, 7th grade in Newport, Kentucky looking to prove himself, his jump shot was always money. It's crazy, at this time he was the 4th option on his AAU team. But they drew up some plays for him every game. And puberty saved Brody, because check out this dunk attempt. Cooper Flagg at the age of 14 started to develop into a phenom in the peak of COVID. Maz Cooper Flagg was an absolute problem. There's a reason why he was the #1 player in his class. He was just the 3rd player ever to be drafted to the NBA from the state of Maine. Here's 14-year-old Tyrese Halliburton right after getting cut from his AAU team where he played alongside Tyler Hero. When he got cut, it lit a fire under him, and that's when the villain arc began. By his sophomore year, he was the best player on his team, but still under the radar nationally. Not playing for a shoe circuit team could have played a large role in Halliburton's recruitment. He finished ranked 172 in the 2018 class. A lengthy 14-year-old kid from Columbia, Missouri, Michael Porter Jr., was still yet to become a household name. Before starting high school, he was already 6'5" with elite scoring ability. He first got viral recognition when he took off from the free throw line as a sophomore in high school. Doing this at the age of 16 is absolutely diabolical. I had to run it back. Before AJ DeBonta got over $5 million to play a season at BYU, he was an 8th grader from Brockton, Massachusetts. Imagine getting done with a day in middle school and having to guard this grown man. He was so good for his class, he had to graduate a year early. WNBA star Caitlin Clark was a dog in 8th grade. She had no problem playing up. Her fame didn't start until college, but this lady sure knew what she was about. Olivier Rioux first gained attention while playing internationally for the French Phenoms at 12 years old, but by then he was already 6'10". We saw him hooping in Omaha, Nebraska for Canada's Brookwood Elite. At the time, he was just 15 years old and 7'5". This was before he gained the title as the world's tallest teenager. It's crazy to think that he's 7'9" now. Bro didn't even have to climb the ladder to cut the net. Chet Holmgren hit a crazy growth spurt during his 8th grade year. He went from 6'4" to 6'10". We saw the lanky 9th grader playing alongside Jalen Suggs in high school. He always had that dog in him, even as an unknown hooper in Minnesota. Fast forward to 2025 and the Oxtail legend got a championship ring with OKC. Before becoming the prodigy, Cam Wilder's right-hand man Nelson Newman played on Cam's AAU team in Houston. 12-year-old Nelson quickly gained the fame after going into high school games and cooking. Now he's got almost 3 million followers on TikTok. It's crazy because this game was early in his fame, but he still had grown men coming at him. Just listen to this. Give me that! Before Diamond Blasi had over 7 million followers on TikTok, he was chasing his hoop dreams for a minute. Back in France, he would post videos on his YouTube of him getting his work in. He was only 14 years old, but you can see the progression because these clips are just 2 years later. Rob Dillingham grew a cult following in high school, not using any gimmicks or social media posts, just by being an elite hooper. His bag was different. And for his junior year, he transferred to Donda Academy, Kanye's school out in California, and that's where his fame continued to grow. Obviously, the school shut down because Ye was wildin', but he was the first player to ever be drafted out of the academy. Our first video on Anthony Edwards was him obliterating a defender in New York. He continued that through high school, but a lot of people don't know he could be playing on Sundays with his football ability. He was like a young Saquon Barkley back in the day. Hansel and Manuel is the definition of inspiration. He lost his arm after a cinder block came down and trapped him at just 6 years old. But as you can see, Hansel is built different. He moved to the United States in January of 2021 after he received a scholarship to play at Life Christian Academy. That year, he took social media by storm. This whole sequence is out of control. Before becoming one of the most promising young stars in the WNBA, Paige Bueckers made her name known in Minnesota. She started her varsity career as an 8th grader. In this game from 2016, she helped Hopkins take down the #1 team in the state. And in her freshman season debut, she dropped 28 points, had 5 steals, and 4 assists.
For you so far?
Season going all right. We had our up and down in the game.
Puberty hit young Zion Williamson like a freight train. I know people are going to say Zion was already famous, but trust, he wasn't quite yet. This was November of his junior year in high school. He was nationally ranked, but the fame hadn't came yet. But us and the people in the small town of Quincy, Illinois knew he was gonna be a problem. At just 16 years old, he had a 50-point game at the Tournament of Champions. As a freshman in high school, Jalen Green was averaging 18.1 points and 9 rebounds per game. Our first time seeing Jalen Green, he put on a show in the summer of 2017. Later that year, he took his game to another level. His athleticism was insane at 15, and obviously, things just got more wicked as the time went on. Jason Tatum to this day is one of the best players we have ever covered. This footage was when he was 15 years old, just 4 years ago. He was the star for the St. Louis Eagles EYBL team. As a senior, Tatum averaged 29.6 points and 9.1 rebounds per game. He also had 6 40-point games while leading Chaminade to a 5A state championship. Before Jalen Williams became the second option for the OKC Thunder, he played basketball at Perry High School in Arizona. Starting off as a 6-foot-tall point guard, Williams grew 5 inches from his sophomore to senior year of high school. Despite averaging over 25 points per game his senior year, he was still ranked just 9th in the state of Arizona. 24/7 Sports had him ranked 230 overall in the class of 2019. Jalen Brunson was a dominant Chicago area PG playing AAU for McIrvin Fire and Stevenson High School. Back then, I had no idea he would be signing max contracts and become the face of the Knicks organization. He had De'Aaron Fox stranded on an island. Coming out of high school in the 2015 class, he was ranked 31st by 24/7 Sports. And as you can see, he's been at war with Jason Tatum since high school and even snuck a light body. King Bacot is probably the biggest name in middle school right now. Though he may not be as famous as these other guys, his time is coming. He's the younger brother of UNC legend Armando Bacot. King Bacot has been the #1 player in the 2029 class since he was in 6th grade. After making his presence known in middle school, he's starting up high school now. Back when Pistons superstar Cade Cunningham was a freshman in Texas, he was going head-to-head with then sophomore Tyrese Maxey. As you can see, he was getting the best of the matchup. But by his sophomore year, he got crazy athletic. He was hitting windmills and going in-game East Bay. By the time he got to Mount Verde Academy, he was unstoppable. We first saw Tyler Hero in November of 2015 at the Pangos Midwest camp. He could score with the best of them. We could tell as a sophomore he was going to hoop in college. But I'm going to keep it a buck like Antetokounmpo. I didn't think he had a shot at Kentucky, and definitely not a shot at the league. Kentucky came in late and scooped him. In 2017, he was committed to Wisconsin, but Coach Calipari came to Whitnall High School to watch him in person. Hero got the offer, decommitted from Wisconsin, and then committed to Kentucky. It's a cold game. Bam Adebayo has looked like a grown man since day one. He was born with the name Idrisse, but got the name Bam from the Flintstones after he flipped a coffee table at 1 year old. People always commented reclass on our videos, but Bam was just built different. Him and Dennis Smith were a nasty duo for Team Loaded North Carolina. A lot of people didn't know Shai Gilgeous-Alexander didn't even make his JV team as a 9th grader. He grew up in Hamilton, Ontario, but moved to Chattanooga, Tennessee to a school ironically named Hamilton Heights Christian Academy. We covered him a bit there, but at the time of graduation, he was just the 9th ranked point guard in his class. ESPN had him ranked number 35 overall in the 2017 class. I'm sure no one knew he would have an NBA MVP and an NBA championship just 8 years later. We all knew Victor Wembanyama was going to be the truth, but these were some of the first clips where I knew he was going to be that guy. At just 16 years old, he was cooking Defensive Player of the Year Rudy Gobert. De'Aaron Swiper Fox looked like a pro in high school. He dropped 51 points for Cypress Lakes High School as a freshman. We all knew he was going to be special from there. He finished high school number 6 overall in ESPN's 2016 class. He was the number 2 point guard behind Lonzo Ball. I'm sure y'all remember that rivalry in college. Before becoming NBA Finals MVP, Jaylen Brown was just a kid from Georgia building his rep. At the time of this Top 100 camp in 2013, ESPN had Jaylen ranked number 27 in the 2015 class. He clearly gained their respect because he was ranked number 4 in the country by graduation. It was no surprise Tyrese Maxey would become one of the young stars in the NBA. He was considered a 5-star as early as his sophomore season and was ranked top 10 in the country for most of his high school career. We first saw him at the Pangos All-South camp in Texas, and he was putting on a show. Obviously, he continued to get better. Brandon Ingram was one of the first high school hoopers to be compared to Kevin Durant. You can tell from his frame why he garnered those comparisons. He had all the fame in Kinston, North Carolina. He became the first men's basketball player in North Carolina history to win 4 consecutive state championships. Orlando Magic's Jalen Suggs came out the gate hooping in high school. As a freshman, he averaged 21 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists per game, and won the state championship. He just continued to evolve, and then he got paired up with Chet Holmgren, and they made a mean 1-2 punch. You just never know who you chant overrated to. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.